Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. So today we are going to discuss about chapter number 1. Okay, chapter number 1, which is on the quality control. Now, what is important in this chapter? What we are going to learn about in this chapter? Can anyone tell me, like from you, what you think when you come across chapter number 1, that is quality control? So anyone, like, what is quality control? What do you mean by quality control? We will deep dive in quality control, that is for sure. But what do you mean by quality control? Anyone? Why quality control is required? What do you mean by quality control? We will discuss in detail, but what do you mean by quality control? Come on, guys. What do you mean by quality control? Okay. Controls required to give reasonable assurance to user. Okay. Maintaining the quality throughout the engagement. Good. But okay, what else? When you hear the term quality control, what comes to your mind?
Sir, quality means the quality never compromises, sir.
Yeah.
Which means quality means, say example, if the customer giving an order to us,
Hmm.
they are exactly asking my dimension is 10 into 2 meter length, 6 meter height, all these things.
Hmm.
This is should be made with of this is a quality, this is a standard, this is a
Yes.
mixing, everything is there. When the manufacturing is done, they have to do according to that. They will test it also. If it is as per the standard, whatever which is given by the customer, if it exactly is the same, then the customer is ready to take that order. The
Yes.
quality means as per the standard. Here in our case, in our quality control with respect to auditing, as per the standards on auditing, as per the ethical, as per the technical standards, and
Hmm.
the regulatory and the legal requirement, whether the financial statement is prepared according to this and verified according to that.
Hmm. Yep. Very good. Very good. See, when we call or when we say quality control, when we think of this particular topic, quality control, okay. First of all, we need to understand what is quality control and why it is necessary. When I talk about quality control, there are two specific standards that we will deal. Now we will jump on to the standards. We will start learning standards. Okay. So when I talk about quality control, basically I am talking about SQC1 and SA220. Now, what are these standards and why we need these standards? See, here we need to learn the topic by understanding the topic, not by mugging up. And you can only learn by understand when you see the need of that particular topic. Okay. So once you will understand the need, the logic behind the topic, it will be very easy for you to learn. Now, the right now you said why we need a quality. You only specified why you need the quality. That's why we have two important standards. See, this is a specialized field. Audit is not a normal field which anyone can do. Because this is a specialized field, it requires specialized knowledge on the quality itself. How to maintain the quality. It requires that. Okay. For example, SQC1, that is the quality controls for firm. Okay, that they are performing audit, review, other assurance related engagements, which covers everything. Now, that particular SQC1 says that how you can maintain quality, how you can think of a quality, how you can implement the quality with respect to all the type of engagements. As of now, understand that. SA220 talks about when we are talking about the audit. SA 220 is a quality control for an audit of a financial statement. At the end, we are not only required to deliver the service, we are required to deliver the service with the quality. That's why we have these particular standards in picture. Okay. Now, tell me one thing. Let's say today you become CA, a chartered accountant, you clear the exam, you become a CA. Now you have been given an audit of a financial statement, audit of a company. You are being appointed statutory audit of a company. How you will ensure that your audit is a quality audit? You tell me how you will ensure that the service that you are providing to your client is a quality service, is a quality audit. Tell me what different things you will make, what different you will do to ensure that your audit is a quality audit. See, car is available in 7 lakhs also, car is available in 70 lakhs also. But there is a difference between a car of 7 lakh and 70 lakh. So what type of quality and how you are going to ensure that this quality I'm going to provide so that my audit is of that nature? What you are going to do? A simple question to everyone. What different you are going to do to ensure that there will be a quality in your audit? Come on. What different you are going to do? Anyone?
Sir, we'll follow the SQC one and SA 220 as
As of now,
prescribed by.
no. Keep aside SQC1, SA 220, keep aside. Apart from SQC1, SA 220, let's forget that for a minute. In a general terms, how you will ensure that you are maintaining the quality? How you will ensure that you are maintaining the quality? We will come to SQC1, SA 220. That is separate story. That is we will discuss. But generally, let's understand what is the quality.
Sir, in terms of audit, the start point is accepting that the proposals from the client. From accepting the proposal and allocating that audit to the particular team for audit, and preparing the planning is there, execution is there, and report preparing is there, and communication with the management is there. All those things from taking the initial engagement to reporting, whatever the activity is done by the audit office, whether it is being performed with the quality.
But what is quality? Like, for example, when you go in a restaurant, you order a food. When you get a food, you can come to know this is quality food because it's prepared well. It's from the good, food items. The food items are hygiene. Kitchen is kept hygiene. The items which are used are of good nature. No excess oil or something like that. You know this is the quality food that I'm eating. It has taste, everything. When in terms of a food, you can identify these. When I'm getting these things, I can say that's a quality food.
Yes, sir. For the financial statement, whether it is prepared as per the financial reporting framework, and we will
Mhm.
be verifying whether it is as per the financial reporting framework, it is prepared the financial statement or not. Then while you are doing the audit, we will check as per the standards on auditing.
Mhm. Okay. So some
We,
are saying
we,
also, yeah.
yeah, we
Yes,
will
please.
verify this aspect and we will give the opinion. If there is any difference between that, then we will qualify our report.
Okay. Okay. So, yes, Priya, you are saying that hiring audit staff that has relevant technical experience to undertake the audit. Okay. Then we have the answer that satisfaction that we get from doing the audit. Okay, very good. So, when I talk about quality, see, quality is not something that, okay, I am following the SQC1, then the quality is there. Like it will be there. But you need to understand why following the SQC1 is giving you the quality. What is written? See, SQC1 is not a magical document that you will follow and you will get a quality. You need to understand what is written in that. Then only you will be able to deliver that quality up. Then only you will be able to follow what is required for the quality of a firm. Okay. So when I talk about SQC1, basically, okay, SQC1 provides that what are the elements of the quality. SQC1 talks about the elements that should be there when we are talking about the quality. For example, when we are talking about the food, you can say, what is the quality? Taste. What is the quality? It should appear good, smell good. What is the quality? The things which are used in that particular food is good, hygienic. Okay. Kitchen where it is prepared, it is good. So when we talk about quality in a food, you know what quality means. What are the quality standards? Yes, Ankit, very good. So when you perform the audit or when you perform a professional engagement, at that point in time, you need to understand what are the quality elements. For example, do you think leadership responsibilities in a particular firm is a quality element?
Yes, sir.
Following ethical requirements,
Yes, sir.
following client acceptance and continuation requirements, appropriately maintaining human resources, monitoring the
Ye-
performance of an engagement, appropriately performing the engagement. So when I talk about, let's say I am doing an audit, if in an audit I have a good leader who knows about the industry, is it not a quality? That my partner who is doing the audit, he's an audit expert. He knows the industry from in and out. He knows the company like in which industry it is working upon. He is an expert in that industry. Is not a quality? Yes or no? So leadership is a quality or not? Number
Yes,
two,
sir.
ethical requirements. My team is ethically complied. They are not, something where you can even find a single dot on the ethical requirement. For example, they are on the top of the fundamental principles. We have seen, correct the fundamental principles, yes or no? Which are those fundamental principles?
Sir, integrity, objectivity, professional behavior, and confidentiality, professional competence, and the due care.
Okay, very good, very good. So when I say ethical requirements, that means my team is top on these fundamental principles. Is not a quality. Is it quality? Yes. When I talk about acceptance and continuance, that means I'm talking about that when I'm accepting the engagement, I am aware what are the risks involved, what are the, all the requirements of that engagement is, whether I can accept or not. We will see more on the acceptance and continuance when we will deal into SA 210. But as of now, understand that when I talk about acceptance and continuance, before accepting or at the time of accepting, I know what kind of engagement it is and whether I'm capable of doing it or not. At that time itself, I am well aware about the engagement. That's the quality. It's not something, okay, I'll do it audit and later on I will see, okay, what is required, what is not required. As and when things will come, I'll look into that. No. At the time of acceptance, I know everything, like what I need to do, how I need to structure the plan, the execution, the reporting part of the audit. Then human resource. I have the best team who is being trained, who is being performing well, who is being on the top of everything. That's the quality. Then the performance, actual performance of that particular, what you can say, audit, the way I'm being performed, the way I'm performing the audit, supervision, consultation, engagement quality control, plus monitoring. Don't you think all these elements are of quality? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So if all these things are quality, if you totally say yes to that, that is something already there in your SQC20, SQC1. That is only SQC1. So if you go and see SQC1, that is the part only. So I have summary notes also for the SQC1, plus we will also go through the study material here. See, SQC1 talks about leadership responsibilities, ethical requirement, acceptance and continuance, human resource, engagement, quality control review, monitoring and documentation are not the things that we discuss right now with respect to the quality. There is, if you say yes, if you just said a yes a minute before, that means you already know what is the quality. You agree with that, what is the quality, and that is the logically we are going to discuss now. I'm not going to discuss something new. Is the thing that we logically agreed upon, yes, this is the quality, and we are now going to discuss on that. Do you agree with me? No, yes, anything?
Yes, sir. Agreed, sir.
Okay. So if you agree on this particular part, okay, if you agree, now tell me before I proceed, okay, like what is the difference between SQC1 or SA220? Why do we have two separate standards? Why do we have two separate things?
SQC1 is the quality control standards for the firm as a whole, and SA220 talks about particularly single audit engagement. Quality controls required for single audit engagement.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. When I talk about SA220, it is the audit quality. It's the quality of that you are required to maintain it for that particular audit, applicable that each and every engagement level. That is your SA220. But when I talk about SQC1, it's the quality control for firms. It is at the firm level, not at the audit level. So firm, then it comes the audit. So at the high level, when you have, that is the SQC1, it covers everything, whatever is there in your firm. But when I talk about SA220, it covers your audit related quality control. Okay. So it covers audit related quality control. Clear with this? Any doubt? Any doubt? Okay. See how we will proceed with this particular chapter. What we will do is we will go and we will discuss basically like from the study material plus from these notes, specific notes. But I want you guys to take up to the notes which are there with like we will be discussing and everything, so that a day before exam you can prepare, you can review these notes. That will really help you to prepare and do a quick revision for this particular chapter. We have already discussed in past that what weightage they hold. Okay, how much important the standards are. We have discussed in like on the first lecture itself. They are very very important. The whole particular, if I say talk about all these standards, they are very important. Okay, so being important, I want you guys to be ready for a day before exam also. That's why when we will discuss, we will take some notes. I want you guys to also take the notes. Okay. Okay. So now let's go to the study material for the chapter 1. Now your chapter 1 basically, if I talk about, is divided in two parts, which one is talks about your SQC1, where we will discuss about the quality control which is required for a firm. And then second part is talks about SA220, where we will discuss about how audit quality is required to be maintained at the how quality is required to be maintained at the audit level. Now, once you understand basically SQC1, it will be very easy for you guys to understand SA220. Because see, once you understand something at the top level, then it is pretty much easy to understand the same thing at the minute level, like at the audit level. Okay. So now when we talk about the particular quality aspect, we will start with the SQC1. When we talk about the particular quality aspects, as I told you, the elements for the quality that are there, that are required, is nothing but your leadership, your ethical requirements, your acceptance and continuance, human resource, engagement performance, and monitoring. When I talk about leadership, as I told you already, that if you have a leader who is responsible, who is kind of, very good industry knowledge, who is kind of on the top of the things in the audit, it's a quality. Yes. Tell me some more points that you think that as a leader, if leader has these things, then it's a quality. So tell me the points which you think that, if the leader has these points, then it's a quality. Come on. Anyone?
Sir, leadership always should be set as an example, and he should provide the guidance and policy and procedures set by that, and he has to review and monitor it, and he has to discuss with the policies with among the team and get the feedback as well, and it has to be continuous ongoing basis. Policies and procedure to be followed, whether it is followed or not, keep on monitoring, and documentation also he should ensure it.
Yes. So a lot of things. Yeah, but correct. Absolutely correct. Miruna, very good. Yes, correct. Knowledge about the engagement, good temper, guiding the member in correct path. Okay, very good. Anyone else like something more to add on to? What do you mean by quality with respect to leader? What should things be? Let's say for example, if there is a leader, what things you consider as a quality if that particular leader has? Anyone? Anyone? Like what are the things you say that okay, if the leader has these things, then it's a quality. Professional competency, very good, Geet. Yes.
Professional competence and capabilities and authority to comment.
Yes, absolutely correct. Yes, Priya, very good. Integrity, not unduly influenced by the client management. Yes, absolutely correct. You are already independence.
Independence should be there.
Yes, independence should be there. Very good. Yes, independence should be there. So you guys are already providing that answer. Okay, about what are the things that a particular leader should have. Your answers are absolutely correct. Okay. Now, let's see how that is divided or that is given in your SQC1. Whatever we have discussed, we will now see how it is given in the SQC1. But it is the same, trust me. Okay. So, when I talk about SQC1 leadership responsibilities, now what is leadership responsibilities? Is that something which is there on the about the leader, like what leader should do, what is the responsibility and role of the leader in respect to the quality. Okay, for example, The way you it was there that maintaining the quality throughout the engagement. Okay, so leader has to recognize the quality. Leader has to talk about the quality. So for example, here leader encourages an inner culture that recognize high quality audit work. Means he is ensuring that audit quality is maintained. The same thing Geet you mentioned, that maintaining quality throughout the engagement. Yes or no? Then, like Miruna said that, okay, good quality about the leader is knowledge about the engagement, have sufficient and appropriate experience, ability and necessary authority to assume the responsibility. Yes or no? Same that we discussed. Then here we are saying that here the leader has to assume the responsibility. Okay, the leader is the person in that particular in that particular firm that will be the one who will have the ultimate responsibility. Okay, so for example, here the leader has to make sure that he's the one who is taking care of the ultimate responsibility. He's looking for all the things. He's the one who is requiring providing the things within the team, within the firm. So a lot of things are there when it comes to the leadership requirement. Okay, so but understand that whatever we discussed in now when it comes to the leader, yes, those are the things where the leader has to promote internal quality control, internal quality recognition, where the leader has to assume ultimate responsibility, where the leader should have that experience, ability to meet the particular requirement of the firm or the engagement. Okay, so I'll go back to my notes and we will discuss the points. And simultaneously, what I'll do is I'll show you guys the document of SQC1. Okay, SQC1 document which is there, basically that will also help you to understand from where these requirements are coming. It is not something written in the air, but there is a requirement from where it is coming. Okay, so we will also go through that SQC1 document, which is the bare document, and over there also we will understand the requirement of SQC1. Okay, clear. So when I was talking about leadership responsibility, so what we discussed is that internal culture, he need to promote the internal culture on the recognition that quality is essential. He needs to be responsible, assume ultimate responsibility for the firm system of quality control. He is the responsible one. And he should have experience, ability, and necessary authority to assume that responsibility. Those are the leadership responsibilities under the SQC1. I don't think so. It's something different than we discussed. Yes or no? Same way, if I talk about this is a basically document SQC1, the bare text you say for the standards. If you go to the bare text, okay, see these are the elements from here. Para 7, these are the elements which are there for the quality. SQC1 provides that these are the elements. And then it talks about, starts with your first requirement, that is a leadership requirement. Same thing discussed that we are discussing. Nothing different over here. Internal culture based on recognition that quality is essential. He is the one to assume the ultimate responsibility of quality control. And if I go somewhere down the line, that he should have sufficient and appropriate experience, ability, and necessary authority. That's it. Any doubt with respect to the leadership responsibility? Any doubt? Okay. If no doubt, then one more thing I would like to add. See, when I talk about SQC1, that is the quality control at the firm level. This is at the firm level. Okay. Now, we are talking about leader in the firm. Leader and the firm are two separate entities or not? Two separate legal entities or not? Yes or no? Leader and the firm are two separate entities or not? Come on, guys. Do you think the leader is the firm, or firm is different or separate legal entity? So both are different. Both are different. Let's say there is a CA firm. CA firm can have multiple partners. One such partner will be a managing partner who will assume the responsibility, but that managing partner is not equal to a CA firm. Yes or no? In that case, how a CA firm can ensure that my leader is so much good that all the things that we have discussed will be there in the leader? Let's say there is a CA firm. There are 5 partners: Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, Mr. D, and Mr. E. Now, how a CA firm will choose from these partners that, okay, who will be the partner, managing partner? If they want to choose a managing partner, how they will choose? Like, these are the requirements, but somewhere it has to be written like a way, like, there should be a list of requirements, a written document which should be followed. Yes or no? Tomorrow, if let's say there are more partners, Mr. F, Mr. G, let's say hypothetical example, 2 more partners added, how they will come to know what is the requirement to be a managing partner, to be a CEO of that CA firm? So there has to be a written document on quality requirements. Yes or no? Do you agree with me? Am I audible? Yes. Okay. Yes. Now, what do you call this? What do you call this written document? If I ask you this written document, what do you call this written document? If I prepare this kind of written document, what you will call this? Anyone? What will you call this written document? If I prepare, let's say you are preparing a document which covers all the requirements for the quality, the way how a managing partner should be appointed out of these 7 partners. Very good, Priya. Very good.
Policies and procedures, sir.
Absolutely correct. These are nothing but your policies and procedures. So somewhere down the line, a CA firm has to create a policy and procedure on the quality requirement that how a managing partner should be selected, who is a leader. Yes or no? That is something SUC1 says to you. Nothing else. If you see here, it talks about, see, the firm should establish policy and procedures. We are discussing the same thing. That have a written document which should specify that how a leader should be selected. What are the quality aspects of that particular leader? And that is the policy and procedure. Clear? These are the things that should be there in your policy and procedure. Simple. Any doubt? Yes, Ankit. Standard operating procedures, SOPs, or policy and procedures. Yes, those are the things. Any doubt? That why we are talking about, we will talk about policies and procedures. We will talk about at multiple places policies and procedures, policies and procedures, policies and procedures, because of this, so that tomorrow if anyone comes or anyone is a new in the firm, they should be able to understand what is the quality. Okay, you know what is the quality, I know what is the quality. What about others in the firm? To communicate them what is the quality, by this way you will specify what is the quality. Okay, so don't get confused later on when when we will discuss a lot of on what is the quality, what is quality, what is why policies and procedures, why policies and procedures. Okay, so don't get confused later on that. Okay, now that was the first area with respect to the leadership responsibilities. Now, okay, let's go to one of the question which is given in your study material itself. It will help us to understand the particular concept in much more detailed way. ABC and Associates Chartered Accountant has a policy to accept the clients wherein the risk evaluation is conducted with respect to the company and the promoter. XYZ Limited approach ABC and Associate. The promoter of XYZ Limited is a close associate and the family friend of Mr. A, managing partner of ABC and Associate. XYZ Limited has been in news in the previous year for certain inquiries from the regulatory authorities in relation to certain matters. The existing auditor of the XYZ Limited has resigned and created a casual vacancy. XYZ Limited is ready to offer 25% more than the existing fees and has approached ABC Associate for the appointment of auditor. Mr. A has a strong recommendation to the firm to accept the audit. What is your understanding of the functioning of tone at the top of a firm of ABC and Associate Chartered Accountants? What are the considerations one should exercise to uphold the quality of firm? Now, if I ask answer for this question, what will be your answer? What is your answer with respect to this? So what is asked here? What is your understanding of the functioning of tone at the top of the firm, ABC and Associates? Yes, come on, guys. Come on, come on. What do you think when we talk about ABC and Associate tone at the top? If you get
This
this
will
question
create
in your
threats
exam,
to
yes.
independence.
Sorry?
This will create threat to the independence of the auditor.
Yes. Okay, very good. It will create, yes. But what is asked in the question? What is your understanding of the functioning of the tone at the top? Come on, guys. No? Okay. See, when it talks about what is your understanding of the functioning of the tone at the top of the firm of ABC and Associate, they are talking about leadership responsibilities only. Tone at the top. That is the how and what are the things the leadership should understand at the top. Okay. What are the things that leadership basically should maintain at the top? That's the thing they are asking over here. Okay. For example, that whatever the leadership is there, whatever on the top it is there, like, it has to be, that person has to be, sufficient, appropriate experience and ability and necessary authority to assume the responsibility. He should be aware about, that, okay, he is the ultimate responsible person. So those are the things that we discuss is asked in this particular question itself. Reflects poorly as quality is not maintained at the leadership. Yes, absolutely. So it reflects poorly. Reason because here in this particular scenario, there is a clear cut threat to the fundamental principles. Here there is a self-interest threat. Mr. A is, is very much, in close associate with the promoter of XYZ.
Familiarity threat is there.
Yes. So there are chances that, they might, like this scenario might not be appropriate when they are talking about, or this might not be appropriate to take this audit. So basically, there are 3 points which are already given in the SQC1. Okay. SQC1 talks about 3 quality points already, which talks about, and which is practical also, that the firm assign its management responsibilities that so that the commercial consideration do not override the quality of the work performed. Means that the management, okay, responsibility should be assigned appropriately in the firm, so that it should not interact inappropriately with the quality of the work performed. Second, the policies and procedures of the firm, basically, okay, the policies and procedures of the firm discussing about or talking about evaluation, compensation, promotion, okay, regarding its personnel, should be designed in a way that it should provide the commitment to the quality. And third, that firm should devote sufficient resources for the development of its quality control policies and procedures. That is, the firm should invest its time in the development of quality. So it's already given that these are the 3 criteria. So these are the 3 points that at least a firm should do when it comes to the quality. Clear? Any doubt with this? Any doubt? Okay. Now, second point that we discussed about after leadership was the ethical requirements. The second point that we discussed after the leadership requirement was ethical requirements. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by quality in the ethical requirements? What do you mean by quality when it comes to the ethical requirement?
Whether code of ethics is complied with.
Okay, code of ethics is complied or not? Yes. Okay, very good. What else?
Yes, sir. We
Being
need to
honest.
follow the.
No, tell me.
Okay, sir. Yeah, we need to follow the fundamental principle with related to the ethicals as described by the institute. The first is subjectivities and integrity, subsection 111, objectivity 112, and the professional competence and due care 113, confidentiality 114, and the professional behavior 115. All these things we have to follow, and in addition to that, we have to follow the standards on auditing and technical standard and regulatory and legal requirement. We have to comply all these things based on as part of the ethical requirement.
Yes, correct. Perfectly, absolutely correct. Okay, you will establish, you will, follow these requirements. But how will you ensure that everyone in the firms follow these requirements?
We have to establish the policy and procedure designed to provide this reasonable assurance that the firm will follow all these things.
Yes, absolutely correct. So At the end, you know what is quality when it comes to the ethical requirement, following the principles, following the fundamental principles, following the ethical requirement. But others don't know. To make them aware, you need to create policies and procedures. To make them aware, you need to talk about, okay, these are the policies and procedures that are there that you need to follow. Then only we can have quality. Frequent review of the work to ensure the quality. Yes, absolutely correct. But when I talk about ethical requirements, what is the quality that you can expect is following the fundamental principles. So let's see what even SQC1 says. When I talk about SQC1, when it comes to the ethical requirements, basically, it talks about simple that firm should establish policies and procedures designed to provide reasonable assurance. Now, this is the reasonable assurance. I'll tell you why the term reasonable assurance is used over here. If I write that, okay, everyone in the firm should follow the ethical requirement, that is my policy, one liner policy. Do you think it is sufficient? One liner policy that everyone in the firm should follow the ethical requirements. Hmm? Do you think it is sufficient? No. I think your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking. So, yep.
Sir, is that my voice is breaking, sir?
Now it is fine. Yes.
Sir, I'm saying that simply writing the policy, follow the policy and procedure is not right. They should elaborate in details what is the ethical requirement, how to follow.
Absolutely correct. Yes. It has to be elaborated. What is it? What is ethical requirement? And secondly, you say everyone should follow ethical requirement, but how are you going to ensure that everyone is following? Simple. When I talk about audit, reasonable assurance means that you have performed some work. There are things, there is an evidence in your hand. Then only you are able to provide a reasonable assurance. Similarly, when I talk about policies and procedures, writing one liner that, okay, please follow ethical requirement will not give me a reasonable assurance. There has to be evidence, sufficient and appropriate evidence to demonstrate that people has followed the policies and procedures. People have understood the policies and procedures. Then only I will get the reasonable assurance. And that is also logical. Yes or no? What is more logical? To have just one liner or to have a detailed policy on the quality which asks some action points so that you can get or evidence about whether people have followed the policy or not? What is more logical to have? Anyone? Simple question. What is more logical to have? One liner policy or detailed policy? Detailed policy. Bruna. Very good, Chitra. Yes, detailed policy. Very good, Lavanya. Yes. So that is only SQC1 says to you. Please have detailed policy. But the wordings which are used is that the firm should establish policies and procedures designed to provide it with reasonable assurance. Now remember this particular term. I will highlight it. Firm should establish policies and procedures designed to provide it with reasonable assurance. Is same as, like, it is the same kind of thing like having a detailed policy. So when I talk about this particular sentence, it is nothing but is equal to detailed policy plus you have evidence about policy being understood and followed. Yes or no? When I talk about this particular sentence, it's nothing but the detailed policy and the evidence that you have about the policy being understood and followed. That's why when you write an answer in the exam, instead of writing that okay, create the firm should establish a detailed policy and should also maintain the evidence about the policy that all the personals have followed and understood the policy and they have ensured that they meet the ethical requirement, instead of this big sentence you write this line: firm should establish policies and procedures designed to provide it with the reasonable assurance. So you can say that this sentence reduces even your words and make it more clear, make it more evident that yes, what it meant by. Okay. So you can say this is kind of a key phrase. Clear? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Clear, sir. Am
Great.
I audible now, sir?
Yes, you're audible now.
Okay, sir.
So, okay. So you guys are clear with this. Great. Okay. Now, when I talk about this particular part, ethical requirements, okay, we have seen ethical requirement means the firm should comply with the ethical requirement means all the ethical requirements, including fundamental principles. That is given your integrity, objectivity, professional competency, due care, confidentiality, and professional behavior. There is one more thing into the ethical requirement, which is not there in this 5 fundamental principles. And that is very important. What is that?
Independence.
Absolutely correct. There is a altogether different section in the code of ethics on the independence. Yes or no? So, fundamental principle plus independence is something is required to be followed. And that's why you have a separate requirement on the independence in the SQC1 itself. Okay, so there is a separate requirement on the independence in the SQC1 itself. So the firm should follow the ethical requirement, which includes your fundamental principles plus independence. Okay. Now, coming to the part, like, okay, this was one ethical requirements. What else apart from ethical requirements? Okay, if the firm's policies and procedures, okay, should focus on the leadership of the firm, education and training, monitoring and process with dealing with the non-compliance. These are the also things that the firm should have. Again, leadership of the firm, leadership part, education training, monitoring, and the process for dealing with the non-compliance. All these things should be part of the firm's policies and procedures. Why? Because leadership, one of the quality part we also discussed. Education training, again, we discuss in the particular part of human resource. We will see. This is something we already discussed in leadership. This we will discuss in human resource. Monitoring is a separate part we talked about. And processes for dealing with a non-compliance. Again, you can say it's kind of a monitoring only. Okay. So these are the things that should also be there and that should emphasize that, okay, with respect to the fundamental principles that leadership, education, training, monitoring, and process for dealing with the non-compliance. Clear? Any doubt? Okay. Now, when I talk about independence, okay, let's now think of this ethical requirement, this independence part. What is the quality in independence? When I talk about independence, what do you mean by quality? What quality you can bring in the independence? Anyone? What quality you can bring in the independence? Only just having independence is the quality enough? Or something should additional you should also do with respect to the independence? Okay, let's say you have a policy that everyone should be independent. Everyone should maintain independence. And they are conforming also. They are independent. What else quality you can bring?
There should be independence in mind
Okay.
and independence in appearance as well.
Absolutely correct. Yes. Absolutely correct. But let's say I have a one-liner policy which talks about everyone should maintain independence. Is it sufficient? We have seen no, that is not sufficient. One-liner policies are not sufficient. Like following independence in appearance, following independence in mind, I can write in policy. But how can I ensure that this independence is actually being followed? What should I do differently?
Establishing policies and procedures.
I can have, okay, policies and procedures. I had this policy. Everyone should follow independence in appearance in mind both. Is this policy sufficient? What different I will do then? Like if I have this policy, everyone should follow independence. What else you can do? How will you ensure that independence is actually being complied? Not only in the words, it's not only in the document written somewhere.
Top level management should review like whether independence is followed appropriately or not.
Sorry, who will follow? Who will ask?
Like top level management should review like whether article or whoever training are there, so they are complying with the independence standard appropriately or not.
Okay, yes. So management will look into that. Okay. Very good. So Chitra is saying periodical review shall be done. Yes, very good. Periodical review should be done. What else? Management will ensure. How management will ensure? But like what management should do to ensure? Like any specific procedure they should follow to ensure? Like they should go to each and every intern and article and ask them, are you independent? What they should do? But first of all, understand that. Let's say I have a firm where I have 100 of, employees, paid staff, interns, mix everything, 100. So as a managing partner, I am the ultimate responsible managing partner. I am managing partner. I have a policy. Okay. Should I go to each and every article and say that, okay, are you independent or not? Should I ask them? Answer is no. I will not be able to do that. Correct? I will not be able to do that. So, in that case, I will draft a policy, detailed policy. Then I will share that detailed policy with them. Like I will either, ask my managers to share those policy with the interns or I will email them together. I will provide them the hard copies. This is the independence requirement that firm has and you are required to follow. Okay, that's the first thing. Second, I will, ask them. Okay, this policy has areas that if you have a doubt whether you are independent or not, or if you identify a circumstance where you think you are not independent, then what to do? Okay, let's say, for example, policy says you cannot take up any other business or job along with being employed in the firm. Now you come to know, oh, I am also working in a part-time basis somewhere else and I'm working in job, but the independence requirement says that I'm not allowed to work part-time. What should I do? Your policy should specify that also. Like when a person identifies that he's not independent, what to do? So simple scenario, when you go in a mall, they check about the bomb. What if they found? What is the second step? So checking is there, but logically thinking, what should be the subsequent step after identifying that situation? Because 99.99% you don't identify a problem, that's why you will not create a second step where you identify that will be a mistake. That will be a really big mistake. So your particular policy should also specify what if the person is not independent, if he identifies anything. Now tell me, in the earlier scenario, we discussed about like in one of the questions from study material, what we were discussing in this particular question, there is an information XYZ, the promoter of XYZ Limited is a close associate and a family friend of Mr. A, managing partner of ABC and associate. Yes or no? Now tell me, what if how from where you will get this information?
Sir, first we need to communicate there is a breach of independence.
My question is,
Hello?
where you will get this information? Like in the question, it is written that the promoter of XYZ Limited is a close associate and a family friend of Mr. A. In real life scenario, from where you will get this information? Like one of the partner is a close associate of XYZ Limited.
So these are the things are not say based on the written communication we not identify. We have to be inquiry with these people.
So when you will get a new
Then
client,
only
you
we
will
will
go to
come
each
to
and every
know
part.
who is that.
No. But when you will get a new client, will you go to each and every partner and ask them, are you an associate? Are you a relative? Are you something in relation with this particular client? Practically, let's talk about practicality. Think of practical scenario. You are getting a client, your firm has 5 different partners. How will you ensure that any of the partner is not a close associate of that particular company? How will you manage that practically?
Sir, we can we can identify the brand of that and that identity and the business value. See, we have the outside also. We have a lot of information based on the firm. Before that, we have to look into these. What is the how the promoter and management or a place that created that firm? These are the things we have to analyze and we have to keep it in mind, sir. Integrity to be checked
Again,
for
see,
that.
simple thing. Again, when you are talking about a firm is a separate legal entity where you can have a different independence department. People who are looking after independence. People who perform audit may be separate. Okay. People who are maintaining data can be separate. People who are actually doing audit can be separate. Now, over there, who is responsible for what? How you will ensure that, okay, when a particular client is coming, let's say you have a 5 partners. So are you saying that each and every partner should create their own database and do their own research? Who is associated to whom? Simple example, understand practically. Okay, I'll give you practical discussion point. Wait. Let's say there are 5 partners, Mr. A, Miss B, Miss C, Mr. D, and Mr. E. Now, let's say Mr. A got XYZ Limited. Mr. A did a research and created database of related parties. with respect to XYZ Limited. Perfectly fine. Now, Miss B got a company called ABC Limited. She created that database. Okay, of related parties. Perfectly fine. Now, let's say Mr. E got a company which is the fellow subsidiary of XYZ Limited. Now, these were the audit clients. Understand? Audit client, audit client. But this is for the implementation of some complex accounting policies, advisory. Okay. Now, how can you say that, now do you say that Mr. E should do again a research who are the related, who are not related, whether he should accept or not? Let's say Miss C, she is relative of managing director of fellow subsidiary of XYZ Limited, this company. Okay, she's a relative over here. How Mr. E will come to know that Miss C is relative? How Mr. E will come to know that Mr. A is already providing audit service to the, fellow subsidiary XYZ Limited? How? Practically think of this. I'm talking about practicality. How you can do this?
Practically, it is difficult unless otherwise they explicitly provide, or we can see that any transaction between them in the financial statement. Based on that, we can see it.
How many of you say practically not possible? How many of you say this is practically not possible?
Unless otherwise they disclose it, we will not identify certain things.
Disclose to whom? Disclose to whom? The question is disclosure to whom?
Disclose to auditor.
Okay, Mr. A is the auditor. XYZ, okay, they will disclose about themselves. How they will know about the fellow subsidiary, and how they will know about the fellow subsidiaries managing director's relative. Think of it. Absolutely correct, Chitra. Very good. Very good. Now, that's where your policies and procedures come into place. What I will do is pick up the Mr. D. Okay, I'll pick up Mr. D from here, remove him. I'll create Mr. D over here. He is the in charge for independence. Let's say he's also the managing director or managing partner. What he will do is he will take all the data from all the partners, create a central database. And then let's say at the time when Mr. E is coming up with this assignment, he will first go to D. D, should I take this assignment? I am getting this assignment of implementation of complex accounting policies. This is a company. What do you say? Mr. D, and he will provide the list, the detail of the related parties of XYZ or fellow subsidiary. Now see, in this particular part, in this particular database already, you will have a fellow subsidiary name. You will already have a fellow subsidiary name. This database is available over there with Mr. D. When Mr. E will come towards Mr. D, okay, this is a company I'm going to provide the service. He will check in database and say, no, this is a fellow subsidiary of our audit client. Section 144 will come into place. You cannot provide. No. Yes or no? Can we do this? Is this practically possible? This is practically possible. Yes or no? Yes, no, anything?
Sir, for the initial engagement, how it is possible, sir? We need to collect each and every data, right?
No.
Unless
See,
otherwise we collect.
now when I engagement, how actually works it? See, when you start an engagement, when you are about to sign the engagement letter, at the time of signing of engagement letter, you perform acceptance and continuance procedure. What is acceptance procedure? Acceptance procedure is nothing but you identify whether there is a related party, who are the related parties, are you interested in any way. So at the time of before accepting that engagement, even you do your homework on the database, you do your homework on the independence, check your requirements, and then you go and accept the engagement. So that's where your SA 210 for the audit will come into place. That will talk about the acceptance and continuance of client engagement. Similarly, what I am talking over here is written. If you think this is logical, this is the only thing written in your SQC1. See, in your SQC1, what is written about the independence? It talks about that you need to communicate the independence requirement to your personals. Share your requirements. That okay, this is an independent requirement. Identify and evaluate circumstances, relationships that create threat to independence. Take appropriate action to eliminate. Okay, about the independence. Then engagement partner to provide the firm with the relevant information about client engagements, including the scope, service, enable them to overall enable the firm to evaluate overall impact on the independence requirement. That is what we did right now. Engagement partner, that is Mr. A, Miss B, Miss C, Mr. E, will provide all the details to Mr. D, a person appointed by the firm. Yes or no? Or let's say not Mr. D, anyone else, but the person appointed by the firm to manage all the independence related requirements. So provide this information to the firm so that firm can actually understand what is going to happen when you accept that engagement. The personnel to promptly notify the firm of the circumstances or relationship that creates a threat to independence. So over here, Mr. D will immediately evaluate and say to Mr. E, no, this is threat to fundamental principles. Section 44 will applicable. It will be a non-compliance. And accumulation and communication of the relevant information. That whatever discussion this is happening, that okay, you provide me the data, I am giving you whether that you are independent or not. So all this accumulation and communication of relevant information should be there between the firm and its personnel. The firm should update its records. That central database I'm talking about. Here, if I talk about, this is nothing but your central database that we discussed in example, and can take appropriate actions regarding threat to the fundamental principles or independence here. Clear or not? Any doubt with this?
Yes.
Whatever
Sir,
we
clear, sir.
discuss is written or not? Anyone, any doubt? You feel this is not logical? No doubts? No doubts? Okay. See, this is what we discussed practically is written in your SQC1. SQC1 does not write theoretical things. Trust me, all your standards have practical things in them. Whatever we discuss practically, that is written in that. Yes, the language might be different, but the intent is that you need to understand why this particular language is and what is the intent over here. That is the only gap. Most of the students miss to understand the intent of the particular standard. Always remember that, whenever we are writing an exam, why we prefer this kind of languages, because this is more clear in the case of the intent. It demonstrates the intent appropriately. You can have your own words, no doubt in that, but there are certain things which you cannot change, otherwise it will change the meaning of that particular sentence. For example, when I'm writing an answer for the SQC1, and if I don't talk about policies and procedures, it will have a different meaning in my answer. Yes or no? If I write the engagement partner should be this is everyone should follow the fundamental principles, everyone should follow the independence. You are right, everyone should follow, but how everyone will come to know about by firm having a policies and procedures that provides a reasonable assurance. If you don't write that about the firm's policies and procedures, or firm should establish a policy and procedure, you are missing the main point when writing your answer. That's why it's important that you should not change certain phrases or certain keywords, which otherwise it will change the meaning entirely. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt? Okay, so let's go to the study material, quickly go through this. See, again, your study material says the same thing. Okay, very well designed, very good one. See, it talks about again the same, that firm should establish policy and procedures designed to provide it with the reasonable assurance about the ethical requirements. In the ethical requirement part, again, you have the fundamental principles over here mentioned that we discussed, this fundamental principles. Okay, plus about the independence, fundamental principles and the independence requirement. What you should do with respect to independence, the policies and procedures should communicate the independence requirement to personals that we discussed, identify and evaluate the circumstances that create the threat, take appropriate action to eliminate those threats, reduce them to an acceptable level by applying safeguards, if considered appropriate, to withdraw the engagement. This is nothing but, if you go in your professional ethics, okay, chapter 19, this is just remember, after the fundamental principles and threat, we discussed about managing the threat. Managing the threat. Yes or no? This is same. This is the same from that. If you'll go to chapter 19, you will find the same thing over there. Let me see if I have the study material open for the chapter 19. Yes, I do have. See, this is your chapter 19. Okay.
Yeah, we have discussed 5 threats: self-interest, self-review, advocacy,
No,
familiarity,
not threat about. This is
indemnity, all
evaluation
these
of the
things.
threat. Evaluation of the threat, addressing the threat. See, eliminate the circumstances,
And
applying safeguards. Yeah. So, and declining or ending the professional activity, addressing the threat. That is the thing that we just now saw in the chapter number 1 also. Same.
Safeguarding, how to safeguard that threat.
Yeah, so same point. So applying safeguard. Okay, reducing them to acceptable level if considered appropriate to withdraw from the engagement. That is the addressing the threat only. From chapter 19. Nothing new. Okay, and a mechanism. See, your study material also says that there should exist a mechanism in the firm by which engagement partner provides the firm with the relevant information about the client engagement and the personnel of the firm and promptly notify of the firm of the circumstances and relationship that create threat to independence. Central database. This is nothing but your creation of central database that we understood in the example. Yes or no? Any doubt with respect to whatever we are discussing? Yes, no. Today I feel that most of you are silent most. Like I'm getting very less responses.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. Now this is the part where we understood about the engagement. Okay, you have engagement, you have partners, perfectly fine. I'll give you a second example. Mr. A, Miss B, Miss C, Mr. D, Mr. E. Audit team. So instead of here, I'll write it here. Audit team size. Okay, every partner has an audit team. So they have 15 staff, 10 staff, 25 or 7 staff, 12 staff. Okay, these are the team members. When I say staff, it includes your paid assistant, article, everyone. Okay, this includes everyone. Now, tell me one thing. We understood here like client related, partner related thing. If partners is interested, there is a central database. Everyone will be able to understand from the central database. How you will ensure about these people? How you will ensure about these stuff, about the independence part? How will make sure this particular staff or audit team I'm talking about are independent? They are not in any way related to your audit client. Let's say you have the audit client. Audit client size. And let's say non-audit client size. Not necessary you will have audit client, you can have non-audit client also. Let's say you have 7 audit client and 18 non-audit client. Miss B has, let's say, 10 audit clients and non-audit clients of 25. Miss C has 12 audit clients and 25 non-audit clients. Mr. D has 5 audit clients and 10 non-audit clients. And Mr. E has 3 and here 7. Now see where you will go for relation, like whether these 15 are related to these, to these, to this, to this, to this, to this, or to this, or to this, then to this and to this. Then again you will check for the 10, you will check for here. Like will you do like this way? How you will ensure that they are not related? Are you understanding my point? Engagement wise was one thing. How I will make sure that this is particular not related to these or this is particular not related to all these? How? If anyone knows about the permutation combination, they will able to know how many permutations and combinations will be here. To check about the independence. How will you ensure that the team is maintaining independence? When I'm talking about independence, so let's say this 15 people at least these 15, when they are working on the engagement of 7 or on this any 18 clients, they are independent. So in total, if I talk about over here, okay. So in total, if I talk about, you have 25 clients. So these 15, whether they are interested or independent with respect to these 25 clients or not, how will you ensure? And similar way, here 35 clients. Here you have 12 and 15, 37 clients. Here you have 15 clients. Here you have 10 clients. Everywhere you need to make sure that these staff is independent to these clients. How will you do that? You are the managing partner of this firm. Tell me, how will you do that?
There should be like a written policy document, and whoever is the team leader, he should check like whether the whoever is auditing, they are complying with the whatever the rules and procedure are set in the policy document.
Let's say you are the leader.
Communication needs also need to be done with all the audit team.
Let's say you are the managing partner. Assume you are the managing partner, Ankit. Now, how will you make sure that you are able to verify this?
Like under my also, there will be some team leader, no? So
Yes.
I will tell them to check like whether all the articles are following the whatever is the rules and guidelines of the firm. If not, then we will work on, we will communicate with that article and try to resolve that matter.
Let's say every team leader comes to you and says, no, my whole team is compliant. Will you accept that verbal statement?
No, sir, verbal won't be appropriate. There should be some kind of checklist, like checklist, like whether complying with the independence requirement or not. Yes, no, kind of, and grading, like out of 1 to 10, like how much grading you are giving. Like
so you are saying that you will ask 15 staff to fill a checklist. You will ask all the 15 to fill a checklist. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Very good, Geet. Very good, Ankit. Very good. So when I talk about this checklist, it is nothing but your confirmation that you are taking from your staff. Are you independent or not? That's the best thing you can do. Yes or no? Similarly,
Yes,
SQC 1 says the same thing. That first of all, okay, you should establish the policies and procedures to provide reasonable assurance with respect to identification of the breaches. Okay, to notify the breaches of the independence requirement and to take appropriate action to resolve the matters. And for that, what you need to do is you need to first of all, at least annually, obtain written confirmations of compliance with policies and procedures on independence from all the firm personals who are required to be independent in terms of the requirement of the code. Yes or no? Like you are saying checklist, I'm just saying written confirmation. Both are same. Nothing different. But at least annually they should give me this written confirmation. Second, once I have the written confirmation or during the year, if anyone identifies, no, there is a breach to the independence requirement. Let's say one of your leader comes to you, says that no, there is a breach of independence. One of the team member is associated with anyone, or he is a close relative of one of the client. In that case, your leader has to notify you. So all who are subject to the independence requirement promptly notify the firm of the independence. In your case, you are talking about leader. The leader will take care of all your stuff. but staff has to communicate to the leader and leader will communicate to the you. You representing the firm now are notified. So first notify, yes or no, about the breach. So they are notifying the breach. Then once you identify the breach, once let's say they communicate the identified breaches to you, Ankit, in that case, what you will do is you need to address that breach. What should I do? Okay, the person is a relative of the client. Okay, shift him to another team. He will not work on that client. You will take or you need to address that breach particularly. And other relevant personals in the firm, those who are subject to independence requirement, needs to take the appropriate action. For example, your leader under whose team, or let's say the partner under whose team that particular person is, he needs to make sure that there are no such other cases, other relevant personals in the firm. Okay. Plus, promptly communicate to the firm if necessary that other individuals referred to in this particular paragraph who are already there as a teammate have taken the action to resolve the matter. Means your leader has already taken the action. He has shifted that person from one team to another team so that there is no further action should be taken by the firm or firm, or the firm can determine whether they need to take any other action or not. So this is nothing but, you can say in your terms, you are talking about engagement partner. The other relevant personals I'm talking about over here is nothing but the engagement partner who are responsible to take the decision. Okay. Clear? Any doubt than what we discussed? Do you think this is something different than what we discussed with respect to the individual independence requirement? Anyone?
Sir, the example that you have shared, first one, can you go on? In that, I have one doubt.
This one?
Yes, sir. Like in this, you said like Miss C is relative to the managing director of Fellow of XYZ Limited. So how we will know about this relation?
In that case, when for example, she is a relative of managing director. Okay. Now, in most of the CA firms, what happens is when a new client comes into the picture, let's say fellow subsidiary of XYZ Limited is coming into the picture, is being appointed. So all the engagement partners are notified. First of all, are you relative to this particular company? Are you relative to somehow managing director of these companies? So when you go for acceptance of a client, you ask them, please provide this basic detail. Who are the key managerial personas of your firm? CFO, CEO, managing director, partner, okay, of your company. That list is taken and a circular is being, rolled out to all the partners to confirm. Go through this circular or to go through this email. This client is being coming. These are the key managerial personas of the client. Are you anyway related to this client? Confirm it. If yes, then let us know. If no, we will understand that you are not related. So this is how a communication goes out. Then it goes to the responsibility of that particular partner to confirm.
Yes, sir. Clear. Thank you.
Any doubts? Are you understanding the topic that we are discussing over here? Anyone?
Yes, sir. Understanding very good.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Very good, Chitra. Thank you. I think rest of are not able to. No issues. Perfectly fine. Okay.
Yes.
So yes. Okay, great. So let's do one thing. Let's take a break for 10 minutes. Okay. Let's take a quick 10 minutes break and then we'll further discuss. Okay, on this particular topic.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yes. quality control. Now, to understand further, let's take up one question. Okay. So I have a question that we will take it up and then we will discuss that question, and accordingly, we will understand the topic. Okay. So here it is. The question is there on your screen. That is, Messrs. Lodha and Pathak, a reputed CA firm, okay, has been statutory auditors of Zenith Tech Limited, a listed entity for past 4 years. For the financial year 24-25, CA Anirudh Pathak, a senior partner, is an engagement partner. During the audit, the team, led by Mr. Samir, a senior article clerk, discovered that the Zenith Tech has entered into a complex derivative contract. Samir, being the diligent, noted that the accounting treatment for the derivative appeared to be incorrect, potentially leading to an overstatement of profit by significant margin. He communicated findings to CA Anirudh. Now, who is the Anirudh? Anirudh is the senior partner and the engagement partner. CA Anirudh, concerned about the tight reporting deadlines and the firm's long-standing relationship with Zenith Tech CFO, instructed Samir to focus on the bigger picture and not to get stuck on the technicalities that the management has already approved. He mentioned that the firm's policy to be practical and commercial considerations, such as not antagonizing a high fee client, are also important. He assured Samir that he would take full responsibility. The engagement quality control reviewer, upon reviewing the work papers, raised a red flag regarding the derivative accounting and lack of sufficient audit evidence. CA Anirudh acknowledged the ECQR's note but did not take any further action to resolve the matter before the finalization of audit report. In the context of SQC1, evaluate the actions of CA Anirudh and potential deficiencies in the firm's system of quality control. I will give a minute, read the question again, and then try to answer. Take a minute, read the question again, and then try to answer. Come on. So, what do you think? In the context of SQC1, evaluate the action of CA Anirudh Pathak and the potential deficiencies in the firm's system of quality control. How will you write the answer over here? How will you write the answer in this particular scenario? Anyone? How will you write the answer in this particular scenario? No? Okay. So what we discussed when we discussed about the leadership qualities, when we discussed about the leadership responsibilities, what we discussed? Can anyone recall? Provide a recap, quick recap.
Sir, it's very clear that it is evident that the quality and the policy and procedure is not very clear to address this issue in terms of the leadership qualities.
Yes, absolutely correct. But how will you write the answer? When you have to write the answer, how will you write it? What you will write? Anyone? Very good, Geet. Very good. Anyone else? Very good. See, remember something when we were discussing about, let me go back. and discuss on the SQC1 part, what we read on the leadership qualities and leadership responsibilities. Remember, when we were discussing about the leadership responsibilities within the firm, what we discussed basically? Okay, we discussed that the leadership encourages an internal culture that recognizes the high quality of audit work. Plus, here we discuss about that it is non-negotiable that the firm should ensure that the firm assigns management responsibility, its firm assigned its management responsibilities, so that the commercial consideration cannot or do not override the quality of audit work. In the earlier example, we were talking about high fees client. Here we are talking about that, okay, that audit quality, the firm should assign its management responsibilities appropriately so that the commercial consideration cannot override the quality of work. There should not be any complications with respect to the fees and the quality of audit work. Plus, the firm should have policies and procedures addressing evaluation, compensation, promotion, which is commitment to the quality. Plus, we talked about devoting sufficient resource for the development of quality procedures. We were not able to see that. In the question, if you see, those things were not present. Plus, we discussed about the managing partner should have sufficient and appropriate experience, ability, and the necessary authority to assume the responsibility. Now, here in this particular scenario, he has the experience or he might be having the experience, but the question comes to the ability or the authority. Plus, here the firm should design the policies and procedures that the firm's chief executive officer, okay, whosoever it is, or the managing partner should assume the ultimate responsibility for firm's system of quality control. Now, the question comes is that who is the responsible for the ultimate quality control? Managing partner, then how? Anirudh is a senior partner. He has not acted appropriately. He has not replied to the EQCR note also. He is saying, okay, to their interns or to their article assistant, move forward. What is the quality over here? Who is looking after this? He is the engagement partner, correct? Senior partner. He is instructing that focus on bigger picture, not to get stuck with the technicalities. It's a high fee client. Plus, he has a long-standing relationship with Zenith Tech CFO. Who is looking after independence? Who is looking after this management responsibilities that they are not overriding commercial considerations? He is not even, he acknowledged the EQCR note but did not take any further action. What is the, who is the ultimate responsibility? Where is the ultimate responsibility? There is a EQCR who is giving a comment and the engagement partner and the senior partner saying, okay, I will look into that. But he is not taking any action and no one is, doing anything further. Where is the quality? So we will write all these points that we discussed. Okay. So we will write about the leadership responsibilities of the quality. First, you will start with SQC1. You will provide the name. Okay, you will provide that the firm leadership and engagement partners have specific responsibility for the quality within the firm. Then you will say that standard place ultimate responsibility from the firm system quality control on the CFO or managing partner. Tone at the top, that is the performing work complies with the professional standard. Commercial consideration point, that commercial consideration should not override the quality of work performed. Engagement partner's responsibility. Okay. So what is the responsibility of engagement partner? And accordingly, you can do the analysis, provide the analysis of the case, and then you give the conclusion. This is how you need to write the answer for this particular question. Yes or no? Clear how to write the answer?
Yes, clear.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay, great. So If clear, let's take one more question. Messrs. Rustamji and Khanna, a firm of chartered accountants, was recently appointed as the statutory auditor for Innovate Next Limited, a fast-growing e-commerce startup, for the financial year 24-25. The audit was secured primarily due to the efforts of CA Vikram Rustamji, a senior partner in the firm. During the client acceptance process, all the partners and staff were required to submit a declaration of the independence. CA Vikram declared that he has no financial interest in the company. He did mention in the passing a distant acquaintance with the CFO of the Innovate Next Limited. So in the comment, he mentioned that he is a distance acquaintance, like not something close relation, but he's a distance acquaintance to the CFO, that is Mr. Samir Gupta, but stated that the relationship was purely professional and not significant. 3 months into the audit, the EQCR, CA Aditi Sharma, came across a photograph on the public social media platform showing CA Vikram and Samir Gupta along with their families on a recent international holiday together. Further inquiry revealed that their spouses are siblings, making them brother-in-laws. When confronted, CA Vikram argued that his personal relationship does not affect the professional judgment and replacing him as an engagement partner would jeopardize the firm's relationship with the prestigious new client. With reference to the principles outlined in the SQC1 regarding the relevant ethical requirements, analyze the threat to the independence in the situation and advise the firm's managing partner on the appropriate course of action. Take a minute, read the question again, and then try to answer. Take a minute, read the question again, and then try to answer.
There would be familiarity threat.
Okay. What else? Familiarity threat, but what else?
Self-interest threats.
Okay.
Here the independence also is the question over here, sir.
Now the question, see, what is asked in the question, you need to write accordingly. I'm saying what you will write in the answer. Let's talk about writing the answer. What you will write in the answer. That's the main important part.
Engagement partners should be changed for this client, like to maintain the independence.
Okay, engagement partner to be changed. What else?
Here in this question, the independence is a question and it has to be discussed. And we have to reduce to the independence level as an acceptable level. But if not the case, then we can withdraw the engagement as well.
Okay, good. Okay, Chitra, very good. Very good, Geet. Absolutely correct. Now, when you have to write the answer, now see, with reference to the principles outlined in the SQC1 regarding the relevant ethical requirement, analyze the threat to independence in the situation and advise the firm's managing partner on the appropriate course of action. You have to answer within the SQC1 with respect to the SQC1, what it talks about the threat and what it talks about when there is an issue with respect to the ethical requirements.
Yes, sir. It's a talk about the acceptance and continuance of the client relationships. The firm should have the policies and procedure to establish that acceptance continuance level with the things. In this case, the independence is the question of the particular engagement partner. We have to discuss the independence. We have to bring it to the accepted levels. The changing the partner is not things. the self-interest and familiarity threat also is there.
Okay.
Considering this fact, if not able to reduce the independence to the acceptable level, we can withdraw the engagement.
Okay. Very good. Okay. See, when you are writing the answer, you have to make sure, like you are writing with respect to basically the part what is asked with respect to the independence we have discussed in the SQC1. Now let's go back to the SQC1. Okay. So when we were discussing the XQC1, what we discussed basically over there is, see, we discussed about, okay, breach. We discussed about the breach of fundamental principles. We discussed about the breach with respect to the independence. There should exist a mechanism in the firm where engagement partners provide the firm relevant information. At least annually, the firm should obtain written confirmation of the compliance. All breach of the independence should promptly notify to the firm for appropriate action. Okay. So these are the things we discussed. Remember, for example, this one. All who are subject to the independence requirement promptly notify the firm of the independence breach. And there should be a policy and procedure around it. So you will write that the firm should establish policy and procedures designed to provide it with the reasonable assurance that it notified the breaches, that it is notified of the breaches of the independence requirement. When there is an identified breach of the independence, okay, it is notified to the firm to enable it to take the appropriate action to resolve such situations. That should include that, okay, who are involved for the independence requirement should promptly notify, communicate identified breaches to the engagement partner who needs to address the breach and other relevant personnel. Now here the engagement partner was involved into the breach, so other relevant personnel like the managing partner of the firm, those who are subject to the independence requirement, need to take the appropriate action. Prompt communication to the firm that appropriate actions have been taken by the other relevant personnel or not, so that the firm can determine that further actions should be taken or not. You need to write about this because we are writing about the SQC1 within the context of the SQC1. What was the question? The question was that advise the firm's managing partner on the appropriate course of action with reference to SQC1. So these are the things. First, you will talk about the policies and procedures. You will talk about the ethical requirements. Then you will talk about the safeguards. Now, remember, we also discussed about the safeguards. I specifically provided you the reference to the chapter 19. So, this one, in study material also, we discussed about this safeguard, same as safeguard, this one, chapter 19. I provided this reference. Similarly, over here in the SQC1, setting out a criteria for determining the need for safeguard to reduce the familiarity threat to an acceptable level when using the same personnel on the assurance engagement for over long period. Or rather, we will not go this one, over here. This point. Identify and evaluate the circumstances that create threats to the independent and take appropriate action to eliminate those threats and to reduce it to the acceptable level by applying safeguards. If considered appropriate, to withdraw from the engagement. And for this, you should have a policy and procedure. So firm should establish policy and procedure, basically, where the applicable and other who are subject to independence requirement maintain independence where required by the code, which include identifying and evaluation. Chapter 19, this is the reference from, refer, chapter 19, that is addressing safeguard. So you will advise these things. Such policies should have information about the client engagement, personnel to promptly notify, accumulation and communication of the relevant information, Firm can, take appropriate action regarding identified threat to independence. Everything. These are the things that you will recommend to the engagement partner. So this is how you need to write the answer. For example, see, I'll show you. First, you will start with the SQC1. Okay. You will write what is the requirement of SQC1. Sorry. Then you will explain about the relevant ethical requirement under the SQC1. You will talk about the independence requirement, like communication with the personals, identification and evaluation of the circumstances, taking appropriate action to eliminate the safeguard threats, familiarity threat that we are talking about. Remember, you talked about familiarity threat, written confirmation, annual confirmation. Then you do analysis, and then you give the conclusion. These are the suggestive answers, but this is how you need to write the answer for this particular question. Any doubts?
Sir, for this question, like how many points should be written in the exam?
5 to 6.
5 to 6, no? Okay, sir.
Any doubts?
Clear.
Okay. Okay. Now there was a question, I think someone asked me, just a minute. There is a question with respect to the compliance checklist or annual compliance confirmation. Is it applicable to the staff and other people also in the firm? Usually this compliance confirmation is taken from everyone. Okay. So the checklist is provided for other partners and staff also in the firm. Okay.
For administrative staff is not needed, I believe, sir.
Yes, admin staff is not. See, when I talk about the other staff and partners who are subject to the independence or ethical requirement, who come under the purview. For example, if someone is a pure admin staff, processing, invoicing, and everything, nothing else, why he would be coming under the requirement of independence? Or if, let's say, for example, someone is just an, you can say, like housekeeping staff in your firm, you will not require independence requirement for them. So I'm talking about whoever is required to have been, whoever is required to be part of independence. To everyone, those a checklist is or compliance, this annual confirmation is circulated. Clear? Any doubt? Okay, great. Now let's proceed further. So this was like, one or two questions to build up the understanding on this particular topic, okay, in a detailed way. Now we will proceed further and we will discuss about familiarity threat. So there is a specific requirement in the SQC1 for the familiarity threat. Okay, this is the specific requirement for familiarity threat. The question that we discussed, specific requirement, you can say. What this specific requirement is and why this is there. See, a lot of times what happens in, a particular employee is there on a particular audit for a very long time. So at that point in time, it becomes a familiarity threat or chances of a familiarity threat. Accordingly, it is suggested that the firm should have policies and procedures setting out criteria for determining need for safeguard to reduce familiarity threat to an acceptable level when using the same senior personnel. Now, this is to the same senior personnel. Okay, same senior personnel on the assurance engagement over long period of time. Kind of bring some rotation or something like that. And for all the audits of listed entities requiring the rotation of engagement partner after a specified period with the compliance with the code. So they say there should be a mandatory rotation for all the audit of financial statement of listed entities. Okay. And rotation of engagement partners after a specified period. Now, what is a specified period basically? Now, as of now, the specified period you can say is 6 years. Oh, sorry, not more than 7
Seven,
years.
7 years, sir, it's mentioned.
Yes. So for this audit, the specified period is not more than 7 years. Like within 7 years, you are required to change this engagement partner so that there is a very less chance of the familiarity threat. Okay, so this is a specific requirement of the your familiarity thread under the SQC1. Same in your study material, this is the one area where you have SQC1 lays specific emphasis on this familiarity thread. Okay, length on the service of senior personnel engagement and the engagement partner. Okay, so this is where it is specified in the your study material also. So not more than 7 years, engagement partner should be rotated after predefined period. And for that, the firm should have policies and procedures in place. Clear? That is the specific requirement. Now, coming to the next part, very important part. That is the acceptance and continuance of the client relationship. When I talk about acceptance and continuance, what do you understand by acceptance and continuance? What do you do in acceptance and continuance?
Acceptance means like accepting the new client, and continuance means continuing with the existing client.
Absolutely, yes. But why this particular procedure is required, acceptance and continuance? What do we do in acceptance and continuance? Why can't I go and say, okay, if the client is coming, accept it directly? Why I can't directly say that? Why I need to create a whole process?
We need to check like whether our audit is within the limit, like 20 audits should be, and whether we have sufficient staff to perform the audit. So like those things, and also whether such a new client is means any portion of that client is related to our firm or not. So those things we need to check. That's why this acceptance related, we need to follow the whatever the rules and guidelines.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir. For the acceptance and continuance is very important. See, on the client side as well as the firm side, for the client side, we have to check whether their integrity is in line with the business standards or ethical standards, and also from the audit point of side, whether we have the capabilities and time and sufficient resources we have to conduct the audit, and also we need to see the ethical requirement from the audit side, whether the professional standards and all these things, regulatory, legal requirement, all these things, whether we are capable of doing that particular audit or not, we have to check from audit side as well.
Okay, very good. Yes. Yes,
So
absolutely.
in continuance, one more point I want to add, like whatever the terms was agreed at the time of acceptance for existing client. Now suppose that existing client management has changed, and whatever the terms we had discussed earlier, so those we need to discuss with the new management team, means whoever has changed, so that whether they are accepting or not with those terms.
Yes, absolutely. Very good. Anything else? Anything someone want to like to add? Anyone? Okay. See, when I talk about acceptance and continuance, what you guys have already summarized in a very good way. You are correct, absolutely correct. So when I talk about acceptance and continuance, it's not it is required because of three main reasons. Client, I need to check client. Second, I need to check myself with respect to the engagement. And third, the engagement. Okay. So because of three reasons, client, me, and engagement, I need to evaluate all these three things. When I talk about client, why I need to evaluate the client, the reason because, so you said that we need to assess the integrity of the client. Can anyone tell me why we need to assess the integrity of the client? Like, okay, why we are concerned with the integrity of the client? We should be concerned with our integrity, but why we are concerned with the integrity of the client? Anyone? Why we are concerned with the integrity of the client?
Like while auditing, we need to maintain the true and fair view in audit report. So if the client is not complying with the integrity, then there is a very high chances that audit report means there will be some kind of misstatement. So audit report will not be true and fair. So that's why
Yes,
we need client should be complying with the integrity.
absolutely. Good. Yes, very good. Very good, Priya. Yes, being involved with a client with a bad reputation can also cause disrepute to the profession. Yes. For risk evaluation, very good, Chitra. Yes. Now, Chitra, to your point for risk evaluation, absolutely correct. Now, have anyone gone through SA 240? What is SA 240? SA 240. Quickly, SA
Auditors'
240.
responsibilities in relation to fraud.
That SA 240 talks about two important fraud risks. Which are those? You will say, sir, why you are asking 240? The chapter is on quality control, SA 220 and SQC1. You are directly jumping to 240. But it has a very good relevance over here. Quickly, what are the two major fraud risks specified in SA 240? Who can tell me? Bonus question. Come on, come on. No one? You guys have not gone through SA 240? I think it's already there in the intermediate, no?
Fraudulent financial reporting and misstatements due to misappropriation of assets.
No. No.
Fraud and the responsibility of auditors, sir.
Fraud? No. So I am talking about which are the two fraud risk already specified in the SA 240. There are two major fraud risks which are given over there. Major. For which you need to perform specific procedures.
Sir, one is the overriding management interest, the conflict, and the incentive for frauds.
Absolutely correct. So one is your fraud in the revenue recognition. Second is your management override of controls. Okay. Management override of controls. So if you talk about this particular term, management override of controls, can anyone tell me what is that? Management override of control.
Whatever the control is set up in the organization, management is not complying with those control. Like for certain payment, if approval is required of some of the higher level authority, but without taking approval, they are making the payment. So this is something called overriding the control.
Yes, they are compromising it. It's if I talk about in your inter, it was in chapter 3. Okay, management override of control. Now, management override of control is something, management's ability, first of all, to bypass the control. Second, it is their intent to bypass the control. See, management has that ability from day one to bypass the control. But in actual, how much they will bypass, it will depend upon their integrity and their intent. That's why it's important to assess their integrity, because by assessing their integrity, you will be able to understand that how much fraud risk you are dealing with, how much how many chances are there that the management will bypass your internal controls. What is the probability that management will override the controls? By assessing this integrity, you will come to know. By assessing this integrity, you will come to know that how much management is following all the policies of the firm, all the policies of the company. Let's say the company has 10 different policies on the independence, or like not on the independence, but let's say on the ethical behavior, on the proper following up of accounting policies, preparation of the financial statement, transactions reporting, a lot of things, fraud reporting, whistleblower. But how much management is serious about those policies? How much management is actually following those policies on the ground? That integrity will tell you. The higher the integrity, the lesser the chance of fraud risk and other risk. Risk evaluation, the best, like Chitra, as you mentioned, not only risk evaluation, but the fraud risk evaluation also. If let's say management lacks high management lacks integrity at a very big level, I will never go for this particular audit. Reason, because in that particular scenario, if I go for the audit in that particular scenario, what will happen is there will be a audit risk. What is the audit risk? Basic concept that we learned in intermediate. What is audit risk?
That the auditor will issue an inappropriate audit opinion on the financial statements.
Yes. Audit risk means the risk that the auditor gives an inappropriate audit opinion when the financials are materially misstated. And that will happen, and there will be a high chance if there is a missing integrity of the management. Remember something formula, there was a audit risk formula. Anyone remembers that?
Yes.
What is that
Yes, sir.
formula?
Inherent risk, control risk, detection risks.
Yes. Okay. So if I talk about that formula, audit risk is equal to your risk of material misstatement into detection risk. Now, this risk of material misstatement is nothing but your inherent risk into control risk. Now, this control risk that I'm talking about is, what is that control risk? What is this control risk? That internal control are not efficient. Okay. This means internal controls, not inherent risk, but the internal controls are not efficient. Okay. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And in the other words, I mean to say there is a chance of management override of control. That is also, in control risk, management override of control. They are bypassing the control. The moment you have lesser integrity, you will have the higher control risk, higher risk of material misstatement, and higher audit risk. That is how it works. That's why it's important to check the integrity of the client. Clear? Understood?
Yes, clear.
Yes, sir.
Then once we check the integrity of the client, the second was I will check about myself. Okay. I will check about myself. What is myself? That is, I am competent to perform the engagement, or do I have the capabilities, time, and resource to do so? Number one, compatibility, competent. Am I competent to perform the engagement? Not only audit. Don't think of only audit. Let's say you got a forensic accounting assignment. You are a newly qualified CA. You got a very complex forensic accounting assignment. SQC1 will be applicable or not?
Yes, sir, applicable, sir.
Applicable. Now, in that case, are you competent to perform that engagement?
No, sir, whether we have that sufficient experience and knowledge, authority to perform that activity should be there, sir.
Number two, second was that, let's say, for example, you will say, I'm competent enough to perform the engagement. Do you have the capabilities to perform? That means sometimes for the forensic accounting, you might require specific IT tools because it could be related to, half of the IT environment. There are some digital frauds or something like that. Okay. So second thing comes the capabilities. Do you have the capabilities to perform the forensic accounting in the IT environment? Third, time and resources to do so. You already have 10 tax audits on your head. You are in the month of September. The due date is 30th September. You have received, on 20th September, you have received this forensic accounting. That is also required to be completed by 30th September. 10 tax audits already on your head. You are the alone partner. You have one staff with you. Okay, already 10 tax audits are pending, and you got this forensic assignment, accounting assignment. Time and resources. So, second question comes to me. Am I competent? Capability, time and resource. CCTR. We call it CCTR. Okay. Competency, capability, time and resource. Do I have CCTR to perform? Integrity, CCTR, and the third part is the ethical requirements, basically. Now, ethical requirements are related to the engagement. For example, independence. What is the engagement? Whether I can comply with the ethical requirement with respect to the engagement. Whether I can comply with the independence requirement with respect to the engagement. Okay, so why independence? Because I need to consider everything with respect to whatever I have. And accordingly, I need to consider about the ethical requirements. Okay, so because of these three things, I need to perform the acceptance and continuance. And for that, firm should have policies. Absolutely. Section 144 gives, because of ethical requirements, I need to evaluate whether I am allowed to take up that engagement or not. So, the firm should establish policies and procedures for the acceptance and continuance of client relationship and specific engagement to provide with the reasonable assurance that that it will undertake continue relationships and engagement only where they have considered integrity of the client and does not have information that it would lead to or conclude that the client lacks integrity. Means you have considered the integrity and you say that the client has integrity. You don't have any information that would lead to conclude the client does not have the integrity. So the first point is integrity. Okay, this is with respect to your acceptance and continuance of client relationship and specific engagements. Second point is the competency, CCTR. Remember I talked about CCTR. That is, are you competent enough to perform? Do you have the capabilities? Do you have the time and resource to do so? And third is the ethical requirements. So these are the 3 points: integrity, CCTR, and ethical requirements that you need to consider. Client, me, and the engagement, you can say. Okay. Plus, you need to obtain such information, in order to perform acceptance with the new client when deciding to continue. See, there could be 3 type of scenarios. Okay. Where there could be 3 type of scenarios that there is a new client, or there is a new client. So you accept new client. Second, you continue old engagement in next year. Or old client giving additional engagement. With respect to engagement, these are the three scenarios. Yes or no?
Yes,
This
sir.
could be the three scenarios. Like scenario number one is you are accepting a new client. Second scenario is that you are continuing the old engagement in the next year. And the third scenario is that the old client is giving you new work. Apart from that, there can be fourth scenario. Is there possibility to have fourth scenario?
No, sir, only three.
Only three. Simple. So the SQC also says that in all the three scenarios, gather the information. See, this is your scenario number one, that before accepting an engagement with a new client. This is a scenario number two, whether to continue an existing engagement. This is a scenario number three, considering acceptance of a new engagement with existing client. So you need to consider this acceptance and continuance requirement in SC1, SC2, and SC3, scenario number three, in all the three scenarios. Obviously, like if I'm getting a new engagement from the old client, or if I'm continuing the new old engagement in the next year, and if I'm getting the new client, in all the three scenarios, I will perform the client acceptance and continuance. In all the three situations, ANC is required. That is also SQC1 says that obtain such information and consider necessary before all the three scenarios. And if you identify any issue, okay, then resolve those issues. Simple. Identify any issue, resolve those issues, and document it. That's it. Clear? Any doubt with this one?
Clear, sir. No, sir.
I have one doubt. What about getting the information after accepting the engagement? Like I started everything, now I'm getting the information. Or I identified something later on. This is I'm talking about you have
First,
the
yeah, we
information.
have to discuss with the.
Yes, tell me. Yes.
Yes, sir. We need to discuss with the management and those charged with the governance to bring it to their discussion. And if found that integrity is there and also not able to do that, then appropriately we can consultation to be done, and we need to document it. If unable to bring it to the acceptable level of that, we can withdraw the engagement as well, sir.
Absolutely correct. Very good. So simple. Whatever you said, that is we are required to do, but it should be written somewhere also. Correct? Written somewhere means we should have a policy procedure. The firm should have a policy procedure. The firm should not only have a policy and procedure about the scenario 1, 2, 3, but should also have the policy and procedure about identifying issues identifying issues once you accept the engagement. Okay. So after scenario number 1, 2, and 3, there should be a policy and procedure that talks about that if that information was available to you earlier, that would have caused you to decline the engagement. Let's say you identified the information that there's a lack of the integrity in the management and you came to know after accepting the engagement. So information that would have caused it to decline an engagement and you obtain that later on. where you obtain this information later on. Okay, there should be policy and procedures on in that scenario, and that should provide you the professional and legal responsibilities to report to the person who made the appointment, or in case of some regulatory authorities, now to report the person or persons who made the appointment, like as you said, those charged with governance management, discuss with them. Okay, and the possibility of withdrawing from the engagement, if you cannot apply safeguard, if you cannot do anything, simple possibility of withdrawing from the engagement. So your policies should provide these things. Clear? This is the continuance of the scenario 1, 2, and 3. So after accepting, or after, you can say, scenario 1, 2, and 3, if you identify information which is a problem, like if you identify any information, you can say negative information or problematic information. So I'm writing here is problematic information. Then what you should do? Then this is something is required to be done. Policies and procedures should be about these particular things. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt with respect to whatever we have discussed now?
Clear, sir, no doubt.
Okay. Similarly, in your study material, acceptance and continuance of the client relationship, you have these 3 points that we discussed: integrity, CCTR, and ethical requirements. Client, me, and the engagement. Okay. So integrity, CCTR, and the ethical requirements. Then you have like these are the very good examples with respect to the integrity of the client. Like examples of when I can say, integrity can create an issue of the client. If there is a missing integrity, then, like these are the scenarios where you can say, issue with the integrity. Very good. Examples in consideration of the capabilities of the firm, time and resources. Okay, very good examples you should go through. And then with respect to what we discussed is this one about the identification of problematic information after scenario 1, 2, and 3. Remember? So report to the person who made the appointment, possibility of the withdrawing, just now we discussed. Plus, this is nothing but policies and procedure for withdrawal from the engagement that is there. Again, we will discuss this part also at multiple places, like policies and procedures on withdrawal from the engagement. Okay, so when you are deciding to withdraw from the engagement, what policies should be there? Like firm should have the policies which can guide engagement partners on how to withdraw from engagement. Okay, so that was there in your study material. Now the next part I want to discuss about is human resource. Fourth part. Quickly, you tell me, what do you think when I talk about human resource? What kind of policies and procedures you will think of?
Sir, there should be policies and procedure to establish with respect to human resources, the capabilities, competence, and the professional and the ethical requirement to be followed. See, particularly on the performance evaluation and the training and the compensation and that expert training as well. All these things, sir, to be followed.
Okay. Okay. What anyone else if they want to add something to this? When I talk about the human resource, how can you make sure that your human resource is of quality human resource? Appointment of staff, qualification requirements, very good. What else? I have a team of 15. How I can ensure that my team of 15 is quality team? How can I ensure that?
There should be policy and procedure for training of the staff, like every Saturday, such kind of things, and there should be policy to maintain the dress code and timely coming to office. Such kind of things comes under HR.
Yes, very good. Very good. Absolutely correct. So, in other words, if I talk about, when I talk about training, I'm talking about the capabilities, competency, and their commitment to the ethical principles. Now, what is why I need capability related policies and procedures? Reason because let's say I'm not only again never think of when you're thinking of SQC1, never only restrict your thinking process to audit. Think of forensic account. If you want to take up forensic accounting engagements, don't you think you need a staff which should be capable of handling such assignments? So I need that staff with the capability. I need that staff with the competency. And second is the ethical principles. No, like, ethical principle, we already have a separate requirement, quality requirement. So by default, it will be applicable to every place. It is applicable to leadership. It is applicable to, acceptance and continuance. It is applicable to human resource. Ethical principle is applicable everywhere. See, now when we started with leadership, okay, we decided we discussed about the leadership. Over there also we discussed about the ethical principle. Like it should be he should be able to demonstrate ethical like compliance with the ethical requirements. Okay, see over here that he should perform the work that complies with the professional standard, regulatory, and the legal requirements. So in the leadership also we discussed this particular part. There's a separate section on the ethical requirement. So by default there is an ethical requirement everywhere in this. Okay, then we discussed about the acceptance and continuance. Over there also we discussed ethical requirements. Now we are going to discuss human resource. Everywhere ethical requirement is needed. This is a very important part. This is a very important point because it is applicable to engagement partner, engagement, the team, you, everyone. It is applicable to everyone. So you need to check capabilities, you need to check competency and commitment to the ethical principles. For that, the firm should have policies and procedures in place. Okay, so the firm should establish policies and procedures designed to provide it with the reasonable assurance that it has sufficient personnel with capabilities, competency, ethical requirements who can perform the engagement in accordance with the professional and regulatory standards. See, this is the point just now we saw. Perform engagement in accordance with professional standards and regulatory and legal requirements. Same is applicable to the partner and same is applicable to the human resource. Why? Because partner is also part of human resource. So if something is applicable to the partner, it is applicable to the human resource. And if something is applicable to the human resource, it's applicable to the partners also. Do you agree with me? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Agree.
Okay.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
when we saw something in the leadership, it is also applicable over here. So parts of the lead that we discussed, remember we discussed in the leadership about the compensation, promotion, okay, personal related, demonstrate firms overriding commitment to the quality, performance evaluation. Remember 3 points that are minimum in leadership. that management responsibility, that commercial consideration should not override the quality of work performed. Firm's policy and procedure addressing performance evaluation, compensation, promotion. And the third is firm should devote sufficient resource on the development and documentation of its quality control procedures. So in that, there was a second point already, which was talking about your compensation, promotion, performance evaluation. So we have already discussed this in leadership. Now again, same, if that is applicable in leadership, that is same going to be applicable in the human resource. But human resource is wider one than the leadership. So you have performance evaluation, you have promotion, you have compensation, but beyond that you have recruitment, capabilities, competencies, career development, estimation of personal needs. That is work-life balance. Okay. So these policies should be there, or policies on these part should be there. Now, someone like I think right now, we discussed about that there should be training on every Saturday, as you mentioned, Ankit, if I'm not wrong. So you mentioned about the training
Yes.
on every Saturday, correct?
Yes, sir. Correct.
It is nothing but your capability and competency developed through variety of methods. You are talking about those variety of methods like professional education, continuous professional development, including training, CPE. What is CPERs? Like, members are required to complete their CPERs. That is, they are required to make sure that they are keeping themselves updated with the recent trends, recent regulatory updates. Work experience. You are working in that environment or in that assignment. Let's say, for example, you were hired for the professional accounting, forensic accounting, and from the day one, I am just giving you, the small checking of audit work. You are not getting that work experience. Even though you will get training, even though you will have professional education, but if you don't have the relevant work experience here in the firm or before the firm, no point. Coaching by more experienced staff. In every team, you have a manager who looks after you, that whether who guides you. Okay, so coaching by more experienced staff. So these are the ways you can develop the capabilities and competencies, and the firm should have policies and procedures around it. Important point is having policies and procedures around it. Then only someone will be able to understand what are the things they need to do and what are the things they can achieve. Clear? Any doubt? Now tell me one thing, that if I want to ensure quality, okay, if I want to ensure quality in a particular assignment, what I need to do? Engagement performance is something I need to talk about. Okay, that means I need to make sure that my firm or my team is appropriately, staffed. I have appropriate person with the necessary capability, competency, and time to perform the engagement. That means it should not be the case that I'm giving 10 tax audit. Also, let's say, for example, highly competent, highly capable people, but I'm giving 10 tax audit on 30th September with the 30th September due date to them to perform. So time is also required. You need to assign the engagement teams. You need to assign them the engagement partners. Engagement partner needs to confirm them what is their roles and responsibility. Okay, you need to provide the responsibility of the engagement partner. Like, okay, you are the engagement partner, this is your responsibility. So you should have policies around the responsibilities. Like, who is responsible for what? It should be clear from day one that, okay, engagement is coming. If there is an engagement partners, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H points are responsibility of the engagement partner. IJK and 10 different points are responsibility of the managing partner of the firm. And let's say 2-3 points are the responsibility of the engagement quality control or engagement quality reviewer partner of the firm, EQCR. So on the day one itself, you should have a policy which should provide what is the responsibility of whom. And that is the thing. The SQC1 says that the firm should assign the responsibility of each engagement to the engagement partner and should have the policies and procedures that the identity and the role of engagement partner. Engagement partner has appropriate capability, competency, and authority to perform the time. Responsibility of the engagement partner are clearly defined. Plus, the firm should also assign appropriate staff with necessary capabilities, competency, and time to perform the engagements. Okay. So these are the things that firm should do at minimum with respect to the assignment of the engagement teams. Clear? Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Clear.
sir. Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. So that is with the assignment of the engagement teams. Okay. Now, what we have discussed is we have discussed the human resource. I'll quickly, take you through the notes I have. See, we discussed about the leadership responsibilities. We discussed about the ethical requirement. That is, provide reasonable assurance that personnel comply with the ethical requirement. Policy and procedure regarding, fundamental principles are reinforced. Leader of the firm, education, training, monitoring. These are the points that we discuss. Process for dealing non-compliance. Then we discuss about the acceptance and continuance, where you undertake or continue engagement relationships. Okay. So over there, you need to consider the integrity of the client. You need to check the competent, are you competent to perform the engagement? And do you have the time and resource to do so? Can you comply with the ethical requirements that we discussed? Human resource. So when we are talking about human resource, then capability, competency, and commitment to the ethical principles. Then again, whether they will be perform engagement in line with these standards, professional standards, or regulatory or legal requirements. Okay. Are engagement partners able to issue reports that are appropriate? They will be able to issue reports when they are also clear with their requirements, their responsibilities, and they have the sufficient team. Then only they will be able to provide the reports on time. Independence part we have already discussed. Okay. That who are subject to the independence shall maintain independence. And if you identify the, any circumstance, you should evaluate the circumstance that create threat and take appropriate action to eliminate those threats at acceptable level. Okay. So these are the things we have already discussed till now. Now the next point that is pending are engagement quality control review, engagement performance, and monitoring and documentation. So these are the things that are pending, the three things. Apart from that, we have discussed leadership responsibility, ethical requirement, acceptance continuance, human resource, independence. Clear? Any doubt with respect to the any of part we have discussed? Any doubt?
Sir, is the SQM part of CA final syllabus, like SQM to engagement quality reviews, those?
Generally, as of now, no, but I will get the clarification on that. But as of now, what I am aware is not a part of that.
Okay, sir.
Any other doubts or questions?
No, sir. It's very clear, sir. Thank you.
Okay. If no further doubts, then I propose to keep the session till here. The only request I have is please go through the study material. That is really, really important. Please go through the study material and simultaneously take notes with me. Because the problem is, if you will not take the notes with me, it may happen that you will, later on face difficulties with respect to, okay, why sir wrote this? Why this is written over here? I'm not able to understand the notes which are provided by sir. Don't do that. Okay, so take notes with me. Do a good reading of the chapter. Reading is necessary. I am able to explain it perfectly fine, but see, if you have a reading now, if you have done first reading of the chapter, you will understand at a different level. Trust me. Okay, and ask as many doubts as possible. Okay, then, if no further the doubts, then thank you guys. Thank you for participating. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next session.
Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, sir. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you.
Hmm. Yes. Thank you.